My name is Jeremiah Dukes, and it's my pleasure to really present to you guys tonight interactive television, or ITV. This section of the text for our class is interesting and very relevant to where we find ourselves today with communication technologies. Interactive communication technologies can be seen in the way we receive media, the different platforms, and how media providers are bidding for our attention and dollars. ITV is a term used to describe the convergence of television with digital media technologies such as computers, personal video recorders, game consoles, and mobile devices that enable users for user interaction. So I would like for you to imagine a television viewing experience that is customized to your own personal interests and entertainment needs. Well, this already exists and is possible on multiple ITV providers such as COMS and Verizon Fios. My media provider suggests shows based on my past media selections. This technology is known for its new and groundbreaking materials, but really it is a brainchild from many, many years ago. We're going to go ahead and move to slide 2, and slide 2 is just talking about how ITV has evolved from how people thought about interactive television watching. Early interaction was about a family gathering together and watching their favorite television show. And so for me, that was the Cosby Show that was on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock on NBC. We would come together and sit in front of the television as a family, and this was what we considered as interaction television. Well, how things have changed over the years. Interactive television has moved from what we have just talked about there to the process of viewer participation. ITV literally is a form of media convergence, adding data services to traditional television technologies, which include on-demand delivery of content, as well as new uses such as online shopping, banking, and collecting demographic data for those media providers, media customized, and so forth. So this is no longer simply being tied to a programming schedule or one way of viewing media, which would be the television set. You are receiving media from different devices and even on demand as an option. That kind of frees you up to do other things while watching television. The old watching television as interaction has been left behind or taken over by doing other things while watching television. As you can see on the slide, there are many people who do other things while watching television now, and which provides them for being multitaskers. It can be internet, it can be on their smartphone, it could even be reading the book. All those are different ways that they are continuing to watch television, but also being interactive with other medias and so forth. Moving over to slide 3 talks about the different platforms and how this can be summed up by just simply answering the question, how do you want to receive your media? Over the internet or through a cable provider? Some of the larger multi-channel television operators are AT&T, Comcast, Verizon, who also have developed apps to connect your service over the internet, while other internet sites such as YouTube, Yahoo, MSN, Netflix have given you another way to receive your media without a cable provider. So the selection's all yours, and I would say that what has really happened, there's a combination of both. Some people, instead of having a cable provider for, per se, a $69 cable provider, you could go ahead and get Netflix, which runs special like $9.95 a month for video streaming, which is a little bit more reasonable. You don't have as many channels as you would with a cable provider, but you do have a selection of maybe films or shows that you would probably want to watch and so forth. After choosing your delivery platform for media, then you think about the ways you want to receive that media. It was once all about the television, seen with a box on top of it, and that's how you received most of your media. But now we receive media through laptops, through tablets, through smartphones. There are a variety of ways, and what's amazing about these different ways that the availability for this content is always constant. You can always go to your internet. You can always go to, on a smartphone, you can always go to YouTube. You'll always be connected to the way that you would like to receive that media. Moving over to slide 4. This is the early formation of the ITV, and it had its fair share of failures until it finally was established as a relevant new technology. First, if you want to talk about subscription TV or STV, they came about in the 1960s, but was not able to find a lot of interest within the LA or San Francisco area. Then in 1977, the year that I was born, Cube Television, offered by Warner Cable, also faltered along with Full Service Network in 1977 also faltered. There are also names like MSN, who failed with their launch of Web TV, which died out just after 3 years. And so as you see, all these American-based companies were not having any luck with breaking the interactive television penetration. There was a lot of failure within the U.S., but in the European markets, we had a lot of businesses that were flourishing. For lack of a better word, you had people like B Sky B, British's #1 satellite television provider, who had already, had 9 million subscribers and were continuing to build on it, while the United States and 2000 with the Web TV, it was fizzling out with under 1 million subscribers. So really, the United States had to play a little catch up with their European colleagues and learning how to do market penetration from their overseas competition. It's always good to learn from those who are doing things before you and have already penetrated the market. And so the U.S. really had to take its cues from what was being done in the European markets and what Britain was doing with the ITV market. Late in the first decade of the new millennium, moving on to the next slide, most cable providers such as Comcast, Time Warner, Dish Network, DirecTV had about 25 million subscribers to their ITV technology. Digital television services has started to explode in the United States from 16% in 2006 to 28% in 2009, with predictions to nearly 75% by the end of this year, which is 2014. One problem with this jump that providers were scrambling to solve was, hey, how do we come up with a media buying plan with all this new ITV or interactive television? Traditionally, television networks circulated content proposals for media buyers a year or more in advance. But now with newer video forms, the media buyers have little lead time to research the audience interest with certain media. Another obstacle with the ITV usage is consumer generated content, or content that people develop the non-traditional way, which didn't really have or could with or without RSS, which are real simple syndication, podcasts or newsletters. Many advertisers are looking for ways to capitalize on GSS, which want to grab the same marketing dollars that these traditionally media providers have been providing or been trying to address. So that was another option. With the jump in ITV, CGC or consumer generated content, there remain to be concerned about how to measure the media consumption. Nelson Company, who had for many years adhered to their clients' demand to follow the video, but even to this day they have no comprehensive plan to do so. Other media measurement companies like integrated media measurements propose using cellular phones adapted to measure a consumer's media exposure by sampling nearby sound. Really what it comes down to, there's still no way. Nobody has broken the golden egg on how to really measure the media intake of this society. There's no clear winner in the race for measuring the media consumption and how to develop a plan on moving forward with that. This is a territory that is being watched to see who will emerge with a way to measure the amount of media being consumed by our society. Moving on over to slide 6, I want to talk about the future trends and concerns about ITV, and really these are going to come to you and you're going to be like, I can see why these are concerns, because there's something that we probably hear about quite often in the news, even in the media that we do watch and we do have access to. And the first one would be digital rights or piracy. Are concerns that we have about copyrighted material. This is described that the human rights that allows individuals to access, use, create, and publish media, digital media, or to access and use computers, other electronic devices, or communication networks. This is particularly related to the protection and realization of existing rights, such as the right to privacy and freedom of expression, in the context of new digital technology, especially the internet. This is mostly dealing with if someone creates something digitally and they have it copyrighted, they want to be credited for their uses for it and even paid. And so this is really with intellectual property, this is a huge hot button right now. And so these are things that are always being talked about as this technology continues to emerge. The next one is social TV, a new trend, which is a union of television and social media. Millions of people now share their TV experience with other viewers on social media such as Twitter, and Facebook, using smartphones and tablets. The result is a massive and rapid expanding real-time focus group and promotional force. The social TV market covers the technologies that support communication and social interaction around TV, as well as companies that study television-related social behaviors and measures social media activities tied to a specific television broadcast. The new market is also seeing numerous tie-ups between broadcasters and social network players such as Twitter and Facebook. They're expecting this market alone, and this is why it's so important, talking about the profitability of new technologies, is that this market is expected to be worth $256 billion by the end of the year 2017. And so this is why it is a hot button trend or concern. When we talk about moving over to slide 7, and all the content delivered upon options are now up for grabs and will be the catalyst for new business models to capitalize for this need. And competition for both viewers and advertising dollars in competition for both viewers and advertiser dollars will be the likes of downloadable services such as iTunes, Google, Yahoo, TV network websites offering videos such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, YouTube, are all out for the mighty dollar and are trying to find ways in which they can receive funds from these new technologies. We also talk about the generational shift. And this generational shift is a trend and a concern from when you think about baby boomers, or what our textbook likes to call the lean back generation, who had a surplus of money and were purchasing flat screens, DVRs, game consoles, to Generation X and millennials who are consuming mass amounts of media on multiple platforms, and they're not really spending the money that they would be spending on flat screens or spending the money that they would do on a DVR, to where they now have it at a push of a button, to where they can watch things on demand or really in their own time frame. And so these are ways that we can see that the millennial generation have surpassed the Generation X generation. Also, the Generation X generation has surpassed that of the baby boomer. And we can expect, because of the multitasking generations that we are creating, that the next generation will inevitably pass the millennial generation. Another thing that is really a topic of concern, and that just really brings it down to, piracy, but also who has the right to give you such a material, would be the peer-to-peer sharing. Peer-to-peer file sharing technology has evolved through several design stages, from its early networks like Napster, which popularized this technology, to the later models like that of BitTorrent protocol. Several factors contribute to the widespread adoption and facilitation of peer-to-peer file sharing. These include increasing internet bandwidth, the widespread digitalization of physical media, and the increasing capability of residential personal computers. Users were able to transfer either one or more files from one computer to another computer and the internet through various file transfer systems and other file sharing networks. This has been this has been really interesting with the file sharing, because really in this technology, it's not a big thing for people to share the knowledge to everyone besides the one who had invented the technology. So as I talk about these vastly different media as business models, it brings me to my question, which I didn't spend a lot of time discussing in the chapter, but I do really want to bring one point about what really is being debated is who should bear the cost for this media. Should advertisers pay for the media and provide content free for the user, or should the user pay for content with or without an advertisement? Who should bear the cost? Should it be the advertiser, or should it be the user with or without the advertisement? I would like for you to choose a question, choose a side, and explain why you chose that side. Once again, I want to say thank you for listening to my presentation, and I look forward to see your responses. I hope y'all had a great day, and I will talk to you later. Blessings.